Okay, for this video we're going to talk about shoulder mobility. Okay, very important to ensure shoulders are as mobile as possible for any kind of sport. You'll often find that poor shoulder mobility will inhibit thoracic mobility, which will then sort of lock up the whole body. So what we've got to look at is muscle groups that can inhibit other areas. So we're looking at, start off with pecs. Tight, rounded shoulders can inhibit sort of rhomboids, mid-trap area. So show you a little release for the pecs. Then we've got to look at the lats can be inhibited by the neck and the deltoids and the shoulder group at the top. Equally, the lats itself can inhibit the shoulders. Okay, so we're going to look at those three little exercises and then how to activate them as well. So first off, if we look at the pecs. Okay, want to go find a wall, pole, door frame, elbow, hand, forearm, all resting 90 degrees, shoulder height against whatever frame you're using. We now want to rotate around, okay, and by doing that you're going to feel a big stretch in that pec area and then start dropping down, and it's this little squat here that's going to drive pec minor. Okay, into an eccentric stretch. Alternatively, we can straight arm and we can rotate around that way to get the pecs a bit more, or again, grip and then start hanging and swinging underneath. Again, that's going to increase that motion to release pec minor and the pecs in general. Another way we can do this is to hand against the wall, turn it so it's upside down, fingers pointing towards the ground. This now is going to stretch. Make sure the palm is pressed against the wall. You should feel it on the wrist flexors, biceps. In this position, rotate around and you should feel a big stretch there. Into the pecs again, through the biceps, into the wrist flexors. And again, move in and out of that. So, if we're now looking at the lats, if the lats aren't firing too well, we're going to look at shoulder mobility. Really simple way of doing this. Hand on your head, pull it over to one shoulder, let the other arm just hang down and just start rolling that forwards or backwards and just swing in one way, swing in the other way. Okay, and you should feel that stretching all the way down. Another way of doing it is hold on to something, okay, play around with the grips, doesn't really matter, lean away from whatever you're holding on and then pull that head away from the hand that you're anchored to, and again just move in and move out, and you should feel this as a big stretch from the ears all the way on top of the shoulder all the way down to the wrist. Okay, if we're looking at shoulder groups isn't working too well, that could be inhibited by the lats. So a really simple way of getting the lats going: one hand, turn it, supinate it over, and lean and hold yourself away from it, and then twist under, twist over, push the hips from side to side, add a bit of depth to it, and you should feel those lats stretching a hell of a lot. So now if we've released everything, we want to activate it. A really simple way of doing that is with the bands, okay? So a really nice bands exercise is we want to start off with looking at shoulder retraction to get the lats going. So that can be simply pulling the shoulders back. If you're struggling to isolate shoulder retraction like this, it'd be worth focusing on that alone. So working on the pec stretches and the shoulder mobility. Really simple ways of doing that is we can start off by going either onto your knees, onto your toes, and just start squeezing the shoulders together. So we're in a plank position, okay, abs engaged, squeeze, push, squeeze, push. We can take that then into a presser position, and it's just that squeezing of the shoulders we're wanting. Okay, we're really pushing up, squeezing, pushing up. Very important. Shoulder retraction, extremely important in terms of helping thoracic mobility, especially with rotation, and also with recruiting the hamstrings. Very simple example, if I protract my shoulders, I can go all the way down to the floor. I retract my shoulders, I can get to there. Shoulder retraction helps incorporate hamstring recruitment. Again, round shoulders, sitting down all the time, overworking quads, weak hammies, lower back problems, everything links together. Okay, so back to the bands. Shoulder retractions, squeeze, and then you can add in some rows. We can add in some external rotations. We can pull back, get the lats going a bit more. We can pull up, get the shoulders going a bit more. We can do some flies to get the traps and rhomboids working a bit more. We can then take that into, very simply as well, doing just some pec fly work. Okay, so that's a really simple way of mobilising the shoulders. Another really primal way to get increased upper body strength is to work on hanging. Find a nice pull-up bar and just hang. Work on breathing patterns, really inhaling, and then start playing around with little, maybe hip drives. Start adding a bit of rotation in. You can also work on a bit of shoulder retraction. You can play around with different grips, and as well, obviously from a strength perspective, pull-ups, press-ups, extremely important in terms of creating stability into the whole of those shoulders.